I've talked to a lot of North Vietnamese veterans we fought against. And as combat veterans, we're brothers in a very dark way. We understand each other, even though we're on opposite sides.
It was in 1967 when I learned that the first kid from my neighborhood was killed in Vietnam. 2 years later, I made the first of 3 deployments on board a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier. Watching planes launch fully loaded and return with no bombs made the war seem somewhat abstract to me. But it wasn't abstract for those who experienced the devastation of the bombing, and their stories varied depending on which side one fought.
Cứ sau một trận B-52, trước khi có B-52 thì tất cả im hết. Trong rừng như là lúc bây giờ là trời nó yên, nó lặng, tất cả đi ghê gớm lắm.
And this whole valley just completely turned upside down and just completely turned into a fireball as far as you could see.
But the reality was more terrible than that. I lost one of the hearing of my ears in one of the B-52 bombing. And lots of my friends died in that bombing.
And there were a lot of bombing. That was my earliest memory of the war. And then just basically, I just never thought anything was different. You know, after a few years, you just figured that was the way of life.
It goes without saying that combat is a formidable topic when we think of war, but unexpected stories are also important. For example, art and its connection to the war.
Về ký ức của chiến tranh thì nó vẫn còn lưu lại trong tôi. Tôi là họa sĩ, tức là dùng cái bút để vẽ, tuyên truyền, cổ vũ, động viên những người lính và lực lượng của quân đội Việt Nam.
We were officially United States Army Combat Artist Team number 11. We always carried the sketchbooks, the small size ones that you could put in your field jacket. The North Vietnamese were establishing more of the routes down the Ho Chi Minh Trail. That was the big story.
This is Boot Op Special Forces Camp, where we combat assaulted into Cambodia, and I was wounded there on the 24th of May, 1970.
That was May 24th. Phil Zook's platoon got in a big fight. Most of them got wounded. And I saw Phil coming. He was still giving orders on the radio, trying to get all these guys together, And I looked down and his boots are all full of blood. So I said, "You're hit." He said, "Yeah, I'm hit a couple times." But the guy was still giving orders.
Now, nearly 50 years later, I find myself interested in the reflection of not only other Hoosier veterans, but also the Vietnamese. It seems to me that young men and women may fight against one another, yet share similar hopes and dreams for their future.